Namaskaram girls. In the previous class we have discussed about what are all the meanings and definitions and what is the business environment and what is the usage, significance of business and understanding the business environment, everything we have learned. In today's class we are going to discuss about internal environment and external environment, which is the type of business environment. In this internal environment, it refers to those factors within an organization. So, internal, it means within the organization. Within the organization, what are all the, we can take, what are all the factors, that is policies and programs. Policies and programs. Then organizational structure, employee, financial, organizational structure, then financial, employee, already we have discussed, isn't it? Employee, then next one, physical resources. So, these are all the internal environment. It will come, see these factors can be, why we are telling this as an internal environment, these factors can be altered so that it is controllable, so that we are telling it as an internal environment. Whereas, external environment refers to the factors outside the business. So, these factors by and large are beyond the control of the business. It is beyond the control. External factors are always beyond the control. Internal factors are within our control. Whatever the policy framing and organization structure, setting the organization, setup of the organization, everything will depends upon our hand. So financial, then employing the person, and physical resources such as physical assets are called as a plant and machinery, everything will come under physical resources. So these are all controllable. If we need, we are going to frame. Otherwise we are going to change depending upon our situation, whereas in the external environment it is uncontrollable. Why we are telling it as uncontrollable? Because it cannot be altered. So what are all the things come under the uncontrollable factor? Economic, political and socio-cultural factor. Economic, political and socio-cultural factors. So these are all external environment which affects the business. Now, let us discuss, today we are going to discuss about this internal environment. In this internal environment, these factors affecting the business decision. So, what are all the internal environment? Let us see now. Internal environment factors. What are all the factors which affects the internal environment? First one is value system. There are so many they have given, that is value system, then mission and objectives, management structure and structure, internal power relations, human resources, company image, other factors, everything will come under internal environment factor. Now let us discuss about the value system. What is meant by value system? See, the value system of a business organization makes an important contribution to the success and the prestige in the world of business. So what is meant by value? For example, you can take JRD Tata. We will take this example. This business organization, let us take it as an example. See, he is a founder of Tata Group of Industry. As we all know that he was itself imposed moral obligation to adopt morally just and fair business policy. he adopted just and fair business policy. And practice which promotes interest of consumers, employees. He will promote the interest of consumers and he will promote the interest of employee, shareholders and society as whole. Shareholders and society as whole. So, this value system of JRD Tata was voluntarily incorporated in the Articles of Association. So, TISCO is a premier Tata company, isn't it? So, the value system of business firm has an important value in the corporate culture and determine the behavior towards the employee, shareholders and society as a whole. So, the value of the founder or the owner, it will percolate down the entire organization. Its profound effect on the organization. So the success of an organization depends upon the sharing the value system. Value system we can share by all the members. So external members, associates. Who are all the external members? Let us see later. So all these value system, fair price, just and fair business, we are doing the just and fair business. We must concern about the consumer, employee and shareholders. So what are all the concerns he has shown? And the next example we can say Infosys Technology, which won the first National Corporate Governance Award in the 1999. Infosys, because they have shown the value system. They have shown the value system to all the consumer, employee, shareholders and also the society. It attributes its success to the high value system which guides its corporate culture. To quote one of the report of our corporate culture is to achieve our objective in environment. It is what are all the values he has followed in his organization? That is fairness, honesty, transparency. There is no transparency. Everything he has followed. And courtesy towards the consumer, employee, vendor and the society as a whole. So these value system will bring the business organization towards the high level, corporate level. So next let us move on to the mission and objectives. Let us move on to next one, vision and mission in the objectives. So vision, the vision and objectives of a business guides its operation and strategic decision. So for example, Amul, the Taste of India, Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. So these are started in the previous year. And because it was started for the welfare of the cooperative farmers, because of the farmers they have started this Amul product. So for the welfare of the farmers they have started. What was the vision here? To liberate our farmers from the economic oppression. So what is the vision? To liberate from the economic oppression and leads them to the prosperity. So because of the farmers, this was started Amul product, Amul India, and also Gujarat Anand product, Amul milk. As far as a vision, we are going to discuss with the mission. Mission means here, what is the objectives of starting a business? The objectives of firm is assumed to be maximization of profits in the long run. In the long run, we are going to earn the profit. So, but mission is different from the narrow objectives, isn't it? Because of profit maximization, mission is defined as the overall purpose of reason for its existence, which guides and influences its business decision and economic activities. What is the choice of business domain? So business, it directs its development choice of business. They are going to follow the strategy and policy all over the mission of the company. See, for example, you can take to become a world-class company and to achieve a global domain has been the mission of the Reliance Industry of India. You can take what is the mission he has taken Reliance Industry. Reliance Industry has taken a mission. So what they have, what is the development? So not only their motive is not to earn the profit, to serve the consumer. So that is called a mission. So Reliance Industry of India, similarly to become a research-based international pharma company has been started as a mission of this Reliance company. They have started as a mission of that. They have started a Ranbaxy laboratory. Ranbaxy laboratory. So this is the mission. So so they have started this kind of laboratories because not to earn profit. After earning much, so few profits, the main aim of the business to do service to the people, do service to the consumer. That is called the mission. Then let us move on to the next topic is management structure. About the organizational structure, we can move. What is the organization structure? Organization structure means such a things, composition of board of directors, the number of independent directors, who are all the whole-time directors. Let us see about the organization structure. Organization structure. That is, organizational structure means such a thing such as a composition of board of directors, the number of independent directors, the extent of professional management and shareholding patterns. It consists of organization structure. So the nature of organization structure has a significant influence over the decision making process in an organization. So all the decisions are made by the board of directors in an organization. An efficient working of a business organization requires that its organization structure should be conducive to quick decision making. So the delayed decision making can cost a good deal in a business firm. So it will cost a delayed decision will cost, it will be very expensive. So quick decision will be very effective. So for efficient and transparent working of the board of directors in India, it has been suggested that the number of independent directors can be increased. Then many private corporate firms in India are managed by family members of their promoters, which is not conducive to the efficient working of the firm. So, what is how they elect the directors? See, shareholders elect directors who make up the board of directors, and the directors then appoint a company. So, what is the organization structure? Shareholders will elect the directors, and then who make up the board of directors. These directors are called as a board of directors. Then the directors then appoint the company top managers who take various decisions. So these board of directors will appoint as the topmost managers in the company. So these board of directors are going to take a decision, business decision. So however, most of the shareholders delegates the voting rights to the management or do not attend they are not attending the general body meeting, most of the shareholders, isn't it? So the interest of the shareholders, in fact, it is the structure of the management or or the style of functioning, the level of professionalism of management, the composition of board or the various factors which affect the decision making. So, since the board is the highest decision making authority, so who is the decision making authority? Board of directors is the highest decision making authority. So, he plays that style of operation, professionalism, it plays a very critical role in the growth and development of the organization. So, the growth and development. Growth means the starting company can grow to the small level. Development means it will be very enormous. So growth and development depends upon the board of directors style of operations. Then let us move on to the internal power relations. See, for example, you can take the bankrupt of business grants such as Enron, Business Concern, World.com in the United States have created great awareness as well as mistrust among the shareholders. So these are all the bankrupt business. So this company, Enron and World.com. So World.com have a mistrust. So these companies companies have created great awareness as well as mistrust among the shareholders in the last few years. There has been a frequent lawsuits filed by the shareholders. So these companies are considered as a bankrupt company. This company, they have shareholders filed the suit against this company, and also this company directors are managers for ignoring the interest of shareholders or in fact cheating them by not declaring the dividend. So it should not be the case in case of a company, in case of an organization. So that's why there is a worldwide, because of the reason they have bring the corporate governance. Corporate governance means the board of directors should give the decision, take the decision transparency without any fraud or misappropriation, any forgery. So that is called corporate governance. So corporate governance of business formed by the organization. So this is called organization structure. Then let us move on to the corporate culture and style of functioning of the top management. Let us see what is the style of function and the top management. Corporate culture and style of functioning of top management. Corporate means a big business. Big business, big company, call it as a corporate company. Corporate culture means what are all the culture they are following in the big business organization, and what is the style of functioning and what is the decision taken by the top management. Let us see. Now, see, corporate culture and style of functioning of top management is important factor for determining the internal environment. Because of the company, corporate culture is generally considered as either closed and threatening or open and participatory. Either closed or threatening or open or participatory. Let us discuss about this. How they are going to take a decision. In a closed and threatening type of corporate culture, the business decisions are taken by the top level managers, while this here they are going to take, the top level managers are going to take the decision. So here, while the middle level and work level managers they are not going to say any decision. So closed and threatening management, how they are going to take the decision, what is the top level management is going to say the decision. So the middle level person, middle level and low level, middle level and also next work level people, work level employee should not oppose. They have to accept whatever the closed and threatening top level managers decision, they have to accept their decisions. See, there is a lack of trust and confidence, isn't it? Because they won't believe the top level managers. So there is a lack of trust and confidence in subordinate officials of the company, and secrecy prevails throughout in the organization. So throughout the organization there will be the secrecy, and there is a lot of politics, there is a lot of misunderstanding will be there in the organization. As a result, among lower level managers and workers, there is no sense of the belonging to the company. So they must have the sense of belonging, the oneness of the company. We are one of the member of it. See, as a family they have to work. So there is no misunderstanding, closed and threatening type of culture. The type of functioning is, it's very deliberate working environment. On the contrary, it is an open and participatory culture. In case of open and participatory culture, they have followed. Business decisions are taken at lower level of management, and top management has high degree of trust and confidence in the subordinate. So the decision here in this case, they have taken from the low level of management. They will always consider about low level management. They will always seek the welfare of the worker, the least employee, the sub-staff. So we must care about them. See, from the top management till the watchman. So who is going to get the decision? Who is going to get the decision on the trust of the workers? So that organization, that culture will be open and participatory culture. So what is the norms they are going to follow? They have the free communication. So there is a free communication between the top level management. They never hesitate to say they are very trust and confidence about the lower level people. So there is a understanding between there is a mutual understanding between the low level and the top level management. So they have a free communication between the top level management in the open and participatory type of culture. So in this environment, so in the open and participatory culture, they are very free to communicate all their wants and desires. So in this open and participatory system, the participation of worker in managerial task is encouraged. So the participation of the worker in the task, participation of worker in the managerial task is encouraged by the top level managers. Often the work won't be encouraged only, whereas it is closely related to the corporate culture, style of functioning. So some top managers believe in just giving orders and want them to be strictly followed without holding the consultation, isn't it? So lower level, without holding the consultation with the lower level management, whatever they are a dictatorial authority. So whatever they are telling, it is our mandatory to obey the order of the top level management. So this style of functioning is not conducive to the adaptability and flexibility in the dealing with the changing environment. Their business environment is changing because nowadays nobody is not very closed and they are not going to work in the threatening environment. Everybody wants the open and participatory environment type of corporate culture. So next let us move on to the quality of human resources. So human resources are the assets of the organization. We have seen in the previous chapter. So what are all the quality as a human resource possess? Let us see. Let us move on to human resources. What is the quality the human resources possess? See, the quality of human resources. The firm, it is important factor of internal environment of a firm. The success of business organization, it's depend to a great extent on the what are all the skills, capabilities, attitudes, commitments. So everything they possess of the employees differ from with one employee to other employee. Regard to them, these are all the characteristics of the human resources. It is difficult for the top management to deal directly with all the employees of the business firm. So each and every employee's skill will vary, capability will vary. So we have to give. Therefore, for the efficient management of human resources, employees are divided into different groups. So the manager may pay little attention to the technical details. They have to give attention to the top managers. They have to give attention to the technical details. Technical details of the job done by a group and encourage the group. So we have to divide them into group. So technical details of what are all the jobs done by the group and we encourage the group. Encourage that cooperation in the interest of company due to the importance of HR. So the corporate company, there must be the cooperation will be implemented only by the HR of the company. So success of the company depends upon the success of the company is depends upon the HR of the organization. So the manager has to solve and manage the problem efficiently. So who can solve the problem efficiently? The HR of the company can solve the problem, handle the problem efficiently. He knows the value of the manpower. So the sources, the success of an enterprise is solely depend on the manpower. Success is depend on manpower of the organization. Therefore, the quality, skill, competency, right attitude and commitment of its human resources is essential for the success of organization. What are all the manpower skill, manpower capability, manpower attitude, commitment, everything is necessary to bring the organization a success one. Who will bring the success to the organization? To the HR. The human resource only bring the success to the organization. Next, let us move on to the public image, company image. Next one is company image. The company image, the image of an organization plays an important role in introducing new product and selecting agents and dealers for distribution and forging alliances. Forging alliances. What is meant by imposing new product, introducing new product? We know. Selecting an agent, that also we know. Dealers for distribution, that we know. Forging alliances means to make an effort to develop a successful relationship with the person and also the organization. to have a cordial relationship with all the supplier and organization, any customer, to all the financier. So the other persons, we are having a very good relationship to make an effort to develop a successful relationship with the person and also the organization. It is called foraging alliances. So with the suppliers expanding and entering new market, both domestic and international, raising finance. So we are going to have a good relationship with the international and also the new, those who are launching a new product, that person, that organization also we are going to have a friendly relationship with all the company. So to have a good relationship with other businessmen also we can get a company image. Then next move on to the labor union. See, labor union or other factor determining internal environment of a firm. See, union, they will collectively bargain with the top management regarding what are all the things they will argue, regarding the wages, regarding working condition, regarding their salary, and the different categories of employee will argue with their own requirements. So, smooth working of a business organization requires that there should be a good relationship between the management and the labor. So, when there will be a cordial relationship so there will be a good relationship between management and labor. So, each side must implement the terms of agreement reached. Sometimes a business organization requests restricting and modernization. In this regard, the terms and conditions must be reached with labor that union must implement in both letter and also the spirit of cooperation of workers. So, spirit of cooperation of workers, that environment, it should be ensured in the reconstruction and modernization of business. So, the labor problem will be solved, then only we can bring the business productive, we can bring the modernization of business. Then the last one is the other factor, that is physical resources also. In the human resources we have seen, now let us move on to the, in the other factor, one of the other factor is physical factors, physical resources. Physical resources under the category, it will come plant and machinery and all the assets, physical assets will come under the category of physical resources. Next one is, in the other factor, the firm's availability to innovate reflected by its research and development, the strength of its financial position and the capital structure. So, the research and development R&D department is going to bring lot of innovation in the organization. Then the efficiency in managing and marketing distribution, network and physical resources like plant and machinery, plant and machinery, building, and also technology. Technology wise, we can bring the changes. So, changes in the technology are the major factors can affect the success of the business. So, these are all the other factors to bring the success in the organization. Let us discuss about one of the factor, physical factor, that is plant and machinery, such as plant and machinery, technological capabilities of a firm determines their competitive strength, which is an important factor determining the efficiency and the cost of production. So, efficiency and reduce the cost of production. Then R&D department, research and development capabilities. The company determine the ability to introduce the innovation which enhance the productivity of the workers. So the research and development department capabilities of a company determine its ability to introduce innovative products. It will enhance the productivity of the workers. So it is, however, it is very important to note that rapid technological progress, especially the growth of information technology in recent years has reached the relevant. It has information technology has a very good growth, isn't it? So it is the important of the intellectual capital and human resource as compared to physical resources of a company. So the growth of a company, for example, you can take Bill Gates. Example, Bill Gates. And next example is Murthy, Narayana Murthy. Technology, what is that? Infosys, Narayana Murthy, Infosys. So these people, they are technologically, they have given most importance due to the quality of the human resources. They are considered as a number one company because of the the human resources are considered as a intellectual capital, and the psychological, cognitive, the intellectual capital, everything will consider as a physical resources. So all these physical resources are because of the physical resources and the human resources combined together, we can bring our organization in a very good number one company. So because we can take for example Bill Gates and Infosys Narayana Murthy, he will tell that at 5 o'clock, till daily at 5 o'clock, my net worth will come down to 0% because my employees are moving towards the home. So employees are the human resources, are the first assets. The next intellectual capital is the cognitive capital is called as a physical resources. So these are all the internal environmental factors. Let us move on to the external environmental factors in the next class.